In our 10th spot, a Hollywood nobody. Royal expert Tom Bowers spoke with GB News on Monday to suggest how the Duke and Duchess not showing up at any Oscar party events proved their influence in Hollywood is disappearing. On television, Tom stated, "They really are nobodies in Hollywood." An example of the former would be the Californian couple's notable absence from Sir Elton John's AIDS Foundation's 31st Annual Academy Awards viewing party, an event in which a large number of A-listers were seen celebrating. The topic of Sir Elton can become controversial because of how he has remained a constant support in Harry's life, including the time he performed at Harry and Meghan's 2018 wedding in Windsor. The famed musician was furthermore a close friend of Harry's late mother, Princess Diana, and carried out that great bond with the Duke after Diana passed in 1997. In August 2019, the Sussexes took a trip to visit Sir Elton and David in their €15 million home during the couple's French Riviera holiday trip. This vacation happened shortly after Meghan and Harry returned from the UK to Ibiza on a private jet, following a 6-night getaway on the Spanish island to celebrate Meghan's 38th birthday. In a statement released later on, Elton defended his friend by admitting he paid for the exclusive plane. Detailed to be a rock to the former royals, Elton made sure to speak up after the backlash that came from the couple's use of 4 private jets in 11 days back in 2019, referring to Diana as one of his dearest friends whose family he felt a profound sense of obligation to protect. Before we jump into number 9, subscribe to Where Are They Now for more up-to-date celebrity news. In our 9th spot, celebrity peers want zero association. Around the time of September 2022, there was a slew of famous faces who apparently refused to be associated with Meghan, and it wasn't long before royal experts were hot on Meghan's tail with warnings of the growing amount of dislikes she seemed to be amassing on a broad global scale. These same advisors voiced concerns about a potential exile at the time. These claims were made specifically by Richard Eden, one of the Daily Mail's diary editors, who discussed this in a Mail Plus interview with Palace Confidential. In the sit-down, he relayed, "We didn't hear much about Serena, it was all about Meghan. It was very much, that's enough about me, what do you think of me?" Instead of Serena making headlines, all the headlines have been about Meghan's stories and the things she disclosed during this podcast. It was a missed opportunity, certainly for Serena, given that I'm not sure famous people will be queuing up to go on because they'll know it's actually all about the supposed interviewer. In our 8th spot, planned place in Harry's life. Many devoted royal fans and followers have been super adamant about their suspicions of Meghan cleverly crafting up a plot to rank high in fame and straight into Harry's heart. While many have classed her as sneaky for supposedly weaseling her wants in life out of the Duke, others commended Meghan for her hard work at a dream millions of modern-day women are also trying to achieve. However, the question begs to differ. Is Meghan an opportunist? Maybe. But did she play her cards right even if she's not? Without a doubt. Yet she did this without the dramatically conniving way that trolls would like everyone to think. She simply chased her dreams in search of her happy ending and impressively managed to become one of the world's most famous women in the process. Now, I don't know for sure about y'all, but that sounds like a lot of aspiring celebrities' dreams to me. In our 7th spot, truth of lies. We know Oprah Winfrey is the queen of chit-chat, as she's given the world some of the most iconic interviews and stories of our generation. So naturally, royal fans were in absolute shambles when it was revealed the couple was doing a tell-all. And as much flack as Meghan has caught over this, it does make sense that she was resolute in disclosing her former royal rumbles. From that point, Meghan had to basically disappear from the public eye, get rid of her social media accounts, follow every one of their many rules, and keep absolutely quiet while the whole world continued to discuss her. Therefore, when Meghan quit being a royal, she was surely entitled to tell her side of events and defend the never-ending backlash, right? Her truth was deemed lies, but she wasn't exactly floating through Hollywood bad-mouthing the royals, showing off her baby to paparazzi, or posting controversial tweets. Even more, she remained pretty dignified throughout the whole process. As it's been noted, Meghan could have done far more damage if she felt like it. In our 6th spot, banking off her life. Word of Meghan banking off her life has been a constant hot topic during her time in Hollywood, especially regarding all of her and Harry's more recent showbiz deals with Spotify and Netflix. However, it can be argued that Meghan is simply doing what she loves and should be allowed to do so. Meghan's been called nothing short of fame-hungry, with resentful people spreading false news about her supposedly plotting her Hollywood return all along. But Prince Harry nipped that one in the butt when he informed Oprah that their business deals happened rescheduled last minute because of their financial situation, insisting the Netflixes and Spotifys of it all was never part of the plan. Even more, Megxit already had a prior presence in Hollywood through a handful of advertisements, minor roles, and her brief time as a briefcase girl on Deal or No Deal. This eventually landed her a major role in a hit TV series, which shows she's dedicated to her craft and has a true passion for being in the industry above all. So with everything from her past with the royal family, Megxit must have been at least a little bit relieved to dip her toes back into the public she's most familiar with. Some Megxit supporters even argued that the couple has remained sans rom-coms and reality shows, and that their content is overall motivational and raises awareness for issues like mental health. In our 5th spot, didn't try hard enough with the royals. It's been argued time and time again by the masses that Megxit never put any effort into her life as a royal. However, the same sentiment can be reversed. In fact, I think sometimes Megxit tried too hard to fit into the royal family's way of living. Of course, the life of a higher power is no easy feat, and honestly, there probably aren't many people who could successfully put themselves in that position to thrive. It's been reported how their policies, procedures, and relentless rules are enough to push anyone to the brink of insanity. So it's proper to note how Megxit remained on the entire time she was a royal family member, never once dropping the ball. She had no public meltdowns or outbursts even, which could show that she never raised any personal drama, even in her lowest times, but rather the drama was truly crowding in from the public's opinion of her. In our 4th spot, took Harry from his royal duties. People will naysay about this topic all day, but the truth of the matter is that Harry himself repeatedly stated he chose to walk away from the royals and Megxit had nothing to do with it. Still, according to reports and the general public, Megxit is a master manipulator and is the reason why she and Harry are still together now. However, some have stated Megxit should not be blamed for Megxit because Harry is a grown man who should be held accountable for his own decisions and actions. Harry even admitted his desire to leave the royal family as early as his early 20s. During a Dax Shepard episode for his Armchair Expert podcast, Harry stated his quick realization of not wanting to be associated with the royals while reaching adulthood. Quote, "It was a case of, I don't want this job, I don't want to be here, I don't want to be doing this. Look what it did to my mom." In our 3rd spot, attention-seeking backlash. If you side with the general public, Megxit's confession of once wanting to end her life was another manipulation tactic for attention, but any other empathetic human could tell you it was more of a cry for help. During her Oprah chit-chat during promotion for the Duke's then newest Apple TV docuseries, The Me You Can't See, Harry admitted that moments prior to them taking photos at a charity event, Megxit revealed her dark, troubled thoughts to him. Because of the system we were in and the responsibilities and duties we had a quick cuddle, and then we had to go to the Royal Albert Hall for a charity event and step out into a wall of cameras and pretend as though everything was okay, Harry stated on the Manor. In our 2nd spot, too much family drama. Also, per the public, Megxit can't stay out of drama, and this ties into not only her tension with the royal family, but also issues with her own. Similar to Harry's relationship with King Charles III, Megxit and her father, Thomas Markle, have shared their own back and forth experiences, even prior to Megxit's fame. According to Megxit's childhood sweetheart, Joshua Silverstein, her and Thomas's relationship has been consistently complicated. He explained, "I did know Megxit's relationship with her dad was complicated, and I understood that as most teenage to parent relationships are. Being there when Megxit's parents were divorced at that time, it's hard raising her kids without the secondary parent. It's all challenging." Putting aside feuding and overall family history, it wouldn't have made sense that Megxit suddenly became publicly estranged from her dad so quickly before her wedding for the entire world to witness. It had to have been years of build-up, and in retrospect, most families would miserably fail this kind of overnight global spotlight, revealing their woeful past as such. In our 1st spot, problematic pregnancy. A lot of Megxit's heightened hate came at what was supposed to be one of the most joyous life occasions. While she was heavily pregnant and set to give birth a few weeks later, online users were targeting her for just about everything under the sun. The way she looked, how she spoke, what she was negatively trending for, damn near down to how she breathed. It was all very much insane. Despite that time meaning to be a happy one for Megxit, she was probably no doubt in just as much emotional and mental pain as she was in physical. And the argument still stands that no woman deserves to be distressed or depressed right before welcoming new life into the world. In our 10th spot, Caddy Coronation. Despite their initial invitation, a few lower-end reporters have claimed the royals don't actually want the exiled couple to attend. However, what all big celebrity news outlets are indicating at the moment is that Megxit and Harry's children are supposedly not invited. According to the Daily Beast, Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet are currently not on the guest list with their parents, first reported by The Telegraph. As per the article, the spouses have had no information about whether the children have been included in the plans surrounding the royal event, and friends of Harry and Meghan claim Archie and Lilibet's inclusion will be discussed further if and when the couple confirm their own attendance. In other related news, apparently the royals are terrified to speak with the prince and his wife at the coronation. With the event mere weeks away and no official confirmation that the former royals will be attending, the current royals seem to be spiraling like usual about running into the Sussex if they decide to show up. Royal commentator Louise Roberts informed Sky News Australia via The Sun, "The problem is that anyone who could be close to them, for example William and Kate, will not tell them anything. Everyone's terrified. Everything's for sale. Every indiscretion or every side comment could be magnified for an American audience in order to get them a profit." This comes high on the news of Meghan and Harry's negotiations over being stationed on the Buckingham Palace balcony with the rest of the royal family despite their initial bow out. Before we jump into number 9, subscribe if you'd like to see more royal family videos on Where Are They Now. In our 9th spot, ditching the royals. Now you may think this point is the one that's the most obvious, and you would be right. Everyone knows Harry and Meghan removed themselves from the life and responsibilities of being a royal some time ago, but Harry has made sure to continuously note the transition was never easy for him. When he recently spoke with trauma expert Gabor Mati, Harry said he lost a lot by breaking out of the only life he was familiar with. However, it hasn't been all bad for him. Despite him telling Gabor the therapy allowed him to maintain more distance from his family, and he struggled and failed to get them to do the same, he also noted how worth it was for him to break the cycle and not deal with the generational trauma that would have cursed his kids from his own childhood upbringing. Yet, most recently, Harry and Meghan unilaterally declared their daughter Lilibet a princess, revealed in a Wednesday morning announcement regarding her christening. Lilibet is a born princess, as her parents have stated, but the palace does not seem to want to recognize her new handle, which obviously kicks up another confrontation ahead of the coronation. Legally, Meghan and Harry's kids are entitled to be referred to by their royal titles based on the royal rule of the grandchildren of monarchs being rightfully titled as such. However, the palace has actively refused to show this on its official channel and seemingly dragged out how the Sussex kids would be styled. Many speculated the royals' lack of acknowledging Archie and Lilibet as prince and princess were due to the couple's many fallouts with the family. But Meg and Harry seem to have lost their patience over this, as they have now left it up to the palace to explicitly choose to deny their children's titles or not. In our 8th spot, royal gossipers. Both Meghan and Harry have done their fair share of royal gossip in their time, including in 2018 when Meghan claimed Kate made her cry after an initial report blamed Meghan for doing so to Kate oppositely. Meghan later refuted these claims surrounding the bridesmaids' gowns during her old Oprah interview. However, royal biographer Tom Bower backed up Kate in his book Revenge by revealing Meghan did in fact make Kate cry, even after assuring the public she didn't. Meghan's comparison of Charlotte to Kate's friend's daughter surely upset Kate to the point of tears, which obviously landed another royal gossip story at the hands of Meghan. Then there's Harry, who quite literally never stops opening up about his and his family's never-ending tiffs, like his and his father's visibly icy relationship and how he and William are always at each other's throats. This also includes the time Harry exposed his brother for allegedly scraping his back with a dog bowl after they physically fought over then recent drama. In our 7th spot, attacking the royals. Kind of reeling off the last point, Meghan and Harry have been known to supposedly throw verbal attacks at the royals too, even more than I've already discussed. We spoke a bit before about the dog bowl incident from Harry's messy tell-all spare, but that wasn't the only time he exposed rifts between himself and the royal family in his memoir. He also claimed the reason why he titled his book as such is that his father allegedly told his mother that he received an heir and a spare, a reference to his older brother William being first in line to take the throne. But this tell-all has reportedly backfired on Harry, as it garnered a lot more negative public attention and exile from the UK than it did support and praise. In our 6th spot, liars. According to not only the royal family, but the royal family's supporters, Harry and Meghan are both massive liars. As for the monarchs and co., Kate and the royals once called Meghan out for supposedly lying about their fallout over Charlotte's dress. But even more, William also previously stated that a lot of Harry's stories are supposedly fabricated. In fact, Meghan and Harry have been called liars over the smallest of things, including the detailed events surrounding their engagement. Harry's also made more public claims that that William briefed the press against him, that his messages to Charles were leaked by the institution, and that he believed Meghan miscarried due to their former male legal battle. These were all dubbed as lies according to royal experts as well. In our fifth spot, telling too much. The notably famous talk show host Oprah held a formerly explosive March 2021 interview with the ex-royals. In it, Meghan and Harry go down a list of things I surely do not have the time to deep dive into, but also included Meghan sharing her experiences of lack of support during times she struggled with her mental health, and Archie's denial of protection and a royal title. During a recent CBS Mornings appearance with her longtime pal Gayle King, TV icon Oprah gave a wise response to the questions about her thoughts on Harry and Meghan's invite. "I think they should do what they feel is best for them and their family. That's what the bottom line comes down to. What do you feel like is the best thing for you?" On top of their Oprah interview, Harry even once penned the couple's most intimate details, including a spicy night with Meghan during a secret hotel rendezvous, in which Harry admitted he was almost caught red-handed after a hotel staff brought them room service the following morning. And if that doesn't tell you we may be getting too many personal peeks into their lives, I don't know what will. In our fourth spot, drama everywhere they go. Fans believe this couple carries drama just about everywhere. Not to mention, Meghan apparently once caused a stir, which royal fans deemed dramatic, after she revealed she wanted to previously end her own life. She relayed this information to Harry when they were about to walk out to do a charity event for the royal family, in which Harry later opened up about Meghan's dark thoughts and how he was only able to briefly cuddle her because they had to save face for the event they'd be photographed at seconds later. In our third spot, bad reputations. Tom Bowers most recently deemed Harry and Meghan Hollywood nobodies. Since this, the spouses will apparently suffer far different treatment as opposed to the royals at the upcoming coronation. This includes seating plans, where they will likely face the cold shoulder as per a royal family source. The family friends stated to the Daily Mail, most likely on behalf of the royals, they will be given the cold shoulder by very many relatives. One said to me, "I hope they'll be seated in Iceland. Many of the family just want nothing more to do with them. If they have to see them at the coronation, then so be it, but they do not want to socialize with them." Not to mention, other notable misses Harry and Meghan will have to face are being excluded from the royal ceremonial outfits, not having a place on the balcony, and instead being a part of the other non-working royals crew, and Harry not being included in the process of kneeling for his father as the new king. In our second spot, disobeying royal rules. Meghan made two big fashion faux pas in the form of breaking royal protocol at the British Fashion Awards 2018 ceremony. For one, her nails were painted burgundy, as opposed to the sheer, near pearl pink polish Queen Elizabeth was wearing for over 3 decades. According to the brand site, this color was deemed by the monarch as the only color Her Majesty would wear. Secondly, Meghan closed her own door. Without Harry on her arm, Meghan displayed a small act of independence when she shut her own car door. I know, somebody roll up the handcuffs please? Because according to Twitter, this act was the most jaw-dropping, earth-shattering moment frowned upon by a royal on duty. Megx broke a couple of other royal rules outside of the fashion event too, like publicly sharing her political opinions, wearing a sleeveless dress to her Buckingham Palace balcony debut, and ignoring their pantyhose tradition under dresses and skirts. In our first spot, causing tension. It's been pretty standardized that the royals have hated Meghan from the get-go, and how they've secretly blamed Harry for all the mess which led to now. However, whichever way you spin it, Harry and Meghan have been divided from the royal family for almost ages now. If you're more on the outskirts, you might even be part of the argument that blames the royals' hostility towards Meghan from the moment she was introduced to her future in-laws, and how the public ran with that revelation to add to the hate. According to another royal expert, Penny Jr., the royals reduced Meghan to not being as charming as she seemed while she was on TV, and added how the royals were not the only ones appalled by Meghan's quote show-busy approach to her new life as a royal family member. Given they're the most famous bloodline in the world, the Oprah Winfrey interview was indicated as the nail in the coffin that pretty much ended Meghan's brief relationship with her in-laws. In our 10th spot, political prejudice. Apparently, Harry was quite the bigot before becoming Meghan's partner. Of course, we shouldn't blame people's past on them now unless they give us a reason to, but it is always fair game to discuss. According to a former classmate of Harry's, he often made distasteful quips seen otherwise of him today. This claim was brought up in a March 2023 release by author Tom Quinn. Tom's book, titled Gilded Youth, An Intimate History of Growing Up in the Royal Family, serves as an exclusive inside look at the life of royals from insider and palace staff perspectives. The purpose of the novel is meant to study how the traditionally standard upbringing of the British royal family has shaped them into their current selves. As a part of this, Tom penned intimate details about the Duke's schooling at the prestigious Eton College, where Harry completed his studies from 1998 to 2003. As per an Eton disciple, Tom revealed they informed him Harry hated all that politically correct stuff, that woke nonsense. The school source claimed Harry made unethical jokes, but how Meghan's presence crafted a complete 360. Quote, "He was funny, a bit cynical, and great company because, like the rest of us, he made jokes that we are no longer allowed to make." After Meghan came along, he changed completely into what he would have once been the first to mock, a sort of guardian reading tree hugger. It was all Meghan's influence. We used to joke that she must have been very good in bed to have turned his head that far. Acquainted sources of Harry during his time at Eton alleged how horrified they were at how fast Harry changed after he met the American actress, and described Harry associating himself with the enemy. In the summarized words of Tom, Harry's friends felt Meghan lacked a sense of humor because of their insensitive, racist types of jokes and conversation. When Meghan reprimanded them for it, they later exchanged a series of mean texts with each other about her, regarding how infatuated Harry seemed with her and how nuts he had to be to stay with her. Before we jump into number 9, like today's video in support of our channel. In our 9th spot, backed into a corner. Of course, we have more claims of Harry and his regrets, this time because he was allegedly given no chance to escape Meghan. No matter how in love Harry and Meghan continue to insist they are, outsiders view their relationship as anything but that, and sources once claimed Harry was, quote, starting to see the ugly big picture of his marriage to the Duchess. Author of Courtiers, The Hidden Power Behind the Crown, Valentine Lowe, painted Meghan out to be a forceful egomaniac who pressured Harry to go public far before he was ready in her then new book. As per Valentine's book information, reiterated in the Times newspaper, Meghan demanded if Harry didn't put out a statement confirming "I'm your girlfriend, I'm going to break up with you." Harry was in a panic. He was freaking out saying, "She's going to dump me." Apparently, this is a normal occurrence between the pair too, going based off the book itself. Insiders supposedly stated how Meghan often manipulates Harry into things, and he only recently began noticing a pattern. An insider was detailed to have noted Harry's anxiety as he attempted to desperately rework his since-released memoir, if given permission by his publishers then, claiming Harry was ruined over the damage done from the initial unfolding events. The same source added, "He's beginning to realize he's backed himself into a corner, and all these reminders about Meghan's behavior are making him uncomfortable." It's been claimed that Harry pushed the speculation of Meghan forcing their publicity aside. However, sources revealed Harry should have just stated his true feelings and betted on her making it work for the both of them. In our 8th spot, gambled his life. Allegedly, Harry took a huge gamble on Meghan and is starting to look back on his bet. Royal expert Duncan Larcombe claimed the Duke is beginning to experience doubts and is having second thoughts over his initial decision to exit his royal life in the UK. Although Harry seems happy in the US with his kids and spouse, experts insist he's been, quote, living out there in self-imposed exile and is a very sociable person. In his formative years, he had a lot of friends, including his estranged brother, and was always spending time with them. As for the opinions of the general public, Meghan has successfully found a way to isolate Harry from his past life, and in turn now has complete control over him and their relationship. Screw being in love, I guess. It seems manipulation is how you win over a person's heart if you ask any Meghan or Harry criticizer. In our 7th spot, toxicity. Royal insiders just can't seem to stop negatively speculating about Meghan and Harry's relationship. According to them, the two have fallen into an irreparable toxic state, primarily because of Harry's alleged growing uneasiness about being trapped in his more recent LA lifestyle. New Ideas was informed that Harry's handful of woke-related interviews were possibly a way to conceal how he was genuinely coping with all the changes from leaving the royals. An insider even accused Harry of parroting Meghan's speech and behavior. Despite Harry remaining open about his happiness and newer found freedom, the source still insisted he was unhappier than ever at the time. Apparently, Harry keeping up with his family in the media meant he never had intentions to leave them, but was forced to by Meghan. It's also been theorized by many he once knew that Harry's personality vastly changed upon his new life, and the longer he remains in it, the more he'll stray away from himself. Former Royal Protection Officer Ken Worth once stated, "Now trapped in La La Land, what happens when Hollywood trappings run dry? Will the palace welcome back their prince? Of course, with or without his wife." In our 6th spot, lost their spark. Apparently, with the fizzling out of their honeymoon phase, Harry is, quote, seriously wondering if he's made a big mistake. Following the events of former monarch Queen Elizabeth II's funeral, Harry allegedly felt as if he made a grand mistake by marrying his wife. The Sussexes were a unified front while tensions were skyrocketing between them, the British media, and most notably Prince William, Kate Middleton, and King Charles III. The reunion was detailed to be awkwardly challenging and resulted in Harry supposedly nitpicking regrets from his and his wife's alleged past. Unnamed sources described to Women's Day how Harry was just coming to terms with how much Meghan apparently takes advantage of him and his mental health, and repeatedly ruins any attempt at his relationships with the royals. Even more, Harry is reportedly regretful about Megxit and pondered what could have unfolded had he made his feelings against it clear to the Duchess. The Women's Day source further claimed this event was, quote, the first of many times she would threaten him into compliance. Never forget, this is the woman who once fallen out with her entire family and has been instrumental in why Harry is alienated from his own. No official claims have been made by the couple though, and they still maintain their content over their decision to restart in California. In our fifth spot, leaves him hanging. The endless deliberation about Harry and Meghan's final coronation decision hung over the esteemed event for months, even after the couple was sent their formal invite a month prior and missed the deadline to respond. But eventually, Harry came out with his final outcome, sans Meghan. The Wednesday morning announcement detailed Harry's approval and noted Meghan and their two shared children, 3-year-old Archie and 1-year-old Lilibet, would not be accompanying the prince. This fueled the narrative of the feud between the couple and the royals remaining intact for real, classing Meghan's decision to be with her child on his birthday as a snub against the family. And you know, not just a mother picking her son's celebration as a triumph over his grandfather's. The majority believe Harry's decision to go solo meant that the reported terms of negotiation had not been all met, and the Duke and Duchess didn't receive what they wanted out of it. In the summarized words of royal author and historian Robert Lacey, the negotiations were potentially a losing factor because of the couple's month-long avoidance of replying to the invite. In our fourth spot, getting between family. Given the most recent reports, Harry has a list of possible demands he felt needed to be met to grace his presence at his father's coronation ceremony in May. Before his confirmation, one of the biggest demands he likely made aware of was requesting several important conversations between himself and his broken family to take place ahead of the event. While reports stated some of his offers were accepted, there was a handful that were also suggested to be ignored. Likely due to the massive rift between Harry, William, and Charles, it seems the world believes Meghan was the biggest perpetrator in splitting them all up, and so having half of the demands come from her was deemed ineffective as well. As per a Mirror insider, Harry would like to reconcile with his family, but so far nothing has changed. While no in-person bonding has seemingly taken place, Harry supposedly already had his fatherly heart-to-heart and wants nothing more than to support him now, according to Yorkshire Live's April 2023 article. However, Harry was crystal clear about his overall intentions and made sure to state he would not be attending if tensions were too high. In our third spot, backstabbing wife. We all know word of mouth is that Meghan stays doing stuff behind Harry's back. But Meghan disagrees, and the record was recently set straight about a conscious concern looming over her relationship with Harry. Via an April 21st Telegraph article, the outlet reported Meghan formally issued a letter to her father-in-law, Charles, regarding worry over the royals' prior views of her and Harry amid their 2021 Oprah interview. During the massively telling sit-down, Meghan accused an unidentified royal of repeatedly discussing issues with the couple's firstborn child's skin tone. The Telegraph then piled on that the alleged agreement between Meghan and Charles served as a factor behind Meghan's decision to stay behind for the upcoming celebratory event. However, one of Meghan's spokespersons had addressed the speculation surrounding her absence, explaining to E! News in an April 22nd statement, "The Duchess of Sussex is going about her life in the present, not thinking about correspondence from 2 years ago related to conversations from 4 years ago. Any suggestion otherwise is fake and frankly ridiculous. We encourage tabloid media and various royal correspondents to stop the exhausting circus that they alone are creating." In our second spot, stuck in marriage. There have been zero solid realistic indicators pointing to Meghan and Harry's alleged divorce, and yet this didn't stop thousands of Facebook users from weighing in their opinions of the Duke and Duchess's marriage in response to another post claiming the couple threw in the towel. Published last June, the page, called McCall News, titled their upload "Media Shock: Harry and Meghan have finally signed divorce papers." This was likely a clickbaity way to garner its 4,000 comments and nearly 1,000 shares the week it went up, an obviously huge media tactic. The post featured an almost 10-minute video describing the couple's supposed marriage failure and accusations of Meghan controlling Harry, who then allegedly felt suffocated and flighty. Because again, the former royals have consistently remained open about their struggles, it seems this was enough for some commenters to agree there was a massive lack of evidence for McCall's claims. Neither the couple nor any reputable news outlets have confirmed Meghan and Harry's rumored plans to seek out a divorce. Even their only social media page, Instagram account @SussexRoyal, has no mention of such. Therefore, this remains baseless, even pushed by the narrator of the video themselves, who finalized, "The signing of the divorce papers is just a rumor in the media. The royal couple has yet to confirm, but experts say they may be hiding it or it will happen soon." And in our first spot, too much hate. Given non-reputable tabloids and official magazine articles continuously gossiping about this couple, it makes sense that they could eventually grow tired of the hate. There's potential for this to cause a big enough rift for an official split, but it seems Harry might have been aware of this from the jump. If we go based on the majority of the public's views, Meghan has garnered hatred and has been exiled from the royals since day one. And regardless of whatever side of the fence you're on, do you genuinely believe Harry thought it would somehow get better? It seems the longer they stayed together, the more hate was being thrown at Meghan. So surely this was more foreshadowing of current events, right? Anyway, regardless, all this negativity may just divide them, and then the world will rejoice, because of course, seemingly miserable people will always celebrate the demise of others. In our 10th spot, true colors. With the way the British media and UK public continuously portray Kate as a regal lady of the manor, one would think she could never do any wrong. Except according to a CNN article, the reality of Kate is much less flattering. As Catherine gears up to one day take the throne as England's future queen consort, it appears the truth will need to reveal itself from all angles before she can take charge of an entire kingdom. Like a true fairy tale, Kate has been depicted as everything you can think of, delicate and graceful with a quiet tone and an overall submissive nature. Of course, when you put her up against someone like Meghan, who the media portrays as this loud, dominating, big-headed British Empire bully, it makes sense why people would prefer Kate in a heartbeat. But supposedly, Kate was just as, if not still is, as calculated as Meghan is claimed to be. As for CNN, Kate's family is full of social climbers, and Kate only went to St. Andrews University, the place where she and William initially met, because she discovered Will was there and reportedly switched schools at the time to get into Will's inner circle. Word of the mouth is that this is why Kate was allegedly so quick to ditch her old pals, allegedly preferring to instead cling to royals as everyone else who has access to the famous family does. If this is even the slightest bit true, then William must know this information by now, and the collective is doing one hell of a good job to convince the world otherwise. Before we jump into number 9, be sure to join our Where Are They Now family by subscribing now. In our 9th spot, messy past. When 2019 reports of William cheating sprouted, the public was shook by the fact that their seemingly spotless couple had potentially gone through such a rocky public issue. This mass speculation came about when a close royal source originally informed Us Weekly of how the two were having to reevaluate their relationship because of the allegations surrounding them, and was furthermore working on strengthening themselves. The claims of Will engaging in an affair with one of Kate's closest friends, Rose Hanbury, shook the kingdom. Out of nowhere, reports surfaced alleging that Kate ended up cutting Rose off over the mess, and described how William wanted to play peacemaker between the former pals, according to royal insiders. If this event did take place, surely William couldn't have been that happy that Kate was icing Rose out of their inner circle. Partly given his ties with his former fling weren't as accessible, and otherly because Kate was alleged to have been making a massive deal about it behind the scenes. Of course, that's if there's any truth to those rumors in the first place. And let's not even get into their brief separation from the mid-2000s, because we'll be here all day if so. In our 8th spot, tension with in-laws. Falling out with family never feels good, and I'm sure the same thing could be said when referring to the breakup of the royal bros, elder William and younger Harry. The tension their many disagreements have caused could see Kate and William's relationship as collateral damage. Then there's the theory from sources that Catherine is just not in agreement with the way the brothers are handling things, given Harry is very public about their mess, while William wants to keep as much private as he can. Then there's the physical fight, which, if Meghan was reportedly pissed on her end, just imagine how Kate was also feeling. There's no way she could have been happy about those events, nor how they were dragged through the media and tabloids. Of course, in this sense, the tension with William's brother's wife clearly played into things as well. Kate and Meghan have a history of mutual beef, given they fought over bridesmaids dresses, fancy kitty tights, and reportedly just about everything in between. The only thing that actually makes sense from all parties is that at least one person wound up in tears. This debacle could have been very well unsettling for William, who likely wants to maintain peace between all parties. However, there was also a ton of talk about Kate being intimidated by Meghan, which could have tossed the idea of peace out the window and riled William's feathers. Why, you may ask? Well, let's just say Kate really is intimidated by Meghan. Then in William's eyes, having a wife who feels so inferior to his brother's partner probably isn't a great look. Given Kate spent a decade shaping herself into the perfect royal partner who can handle all the ropes, Meghan was thrown into the wild a lot faster and already had a status behind her to match. According to reports, this plays the biggest part in why Kate fears Meghan. In our 7th spot, incoming bad king. William's father wasn't exactly the most exemplary version of what a married man should look like, and in his eyes, William could hate possibly being seen as the same type of ruler. Assumably, William likely despises being known as the bad guy one day, as opposed to his dad, because of how public, messy, and scandalous Charles's reportedly forced marriage to Diana was. Seeing just how underhandedly things ended up with the current queen consort, William potentially wants Kate to keep up their squeaky clean image so that they'll never end up in the same boat his late mother and his monarch father were knee-deep drowning in. Not to mention, royal divorces are speculated to be massively frowned upon, so it's obviously not ideal for William and Kate to get separated in that sense, especially when taking into account how well they've supposedly been keeping this up since making things official. In our 6th spot, family drama. As we discussed a bit earlier, the tension between Harry, Meghan, William, and Kate has served as a seemingly serious strain in their marriage, but what about the rest of the royals? It's not as often that we saw peeks into how the mess between the core four had actively troubled Kate and William's relationships with the additional royals, like the late Her Majesty and the less publicly active members. These rifts between Meghan and Harry versus the family could very well still be taking a toll on the current royals, given there was a constant public divide of who the late Queen Elizabeth II would pick or like between the brothers' wives when she was still around. This alone could have easily made things harder for Kate and William's marriage than needed, constantly having to feed into the media battle for attention and dominance within the kingdom, as two similarly ruling couples at the time. And what about their kids? Surely this made things like bonding within the castle and attending royal events together between the ex-royals and the remaining family difficult, when there was constant drama or alienation taking place for all of it. For example, Charles's coronation and how reports insisted Kate was relieved and Meghan was simply tired. And while William might just be able to relate to the latter too. In our 5th spot, princess pressure. Apparently, Kate has far too much pressure on her shoulders, and it could reach a breaking point for the queen consort in training. The tipping balance of her life as William's wife and Princess of the UK means she could be upholding standards on both ends that just aren't realistically sustainable over time. I mean, how manageable is being the perfect wife and the perfect ruler? Let's take William's dating history as an example, a past full of exes who could not stand being by his side because of the extraordinary demands needed of them being thrust into the direct spotlight. It's probably why William had trouble keeping any girlfriends around seriously until Kate. But one of William's long-term exes in particular, Chelsea Davy, once referred to the media attention around her as so full-on, crazy and scary and uncomfortable, while further claiming she couldn't cope, according to a June 2019 cheat sheet article. With cameras watching her every movement and a then-cheating scandal at the surface of her marriage, Kate could have been wishing she remained normal instead of a royal. She was heavily targeted by the media as Weighty Katie, as the then future Duchess was ridiculed for waiting on William's hand for so long. Despite understanding the tabloids, Kate couldn't have been fully prepared for just how intense they'd hound her over the years. Not to mention the rules of being a royal, like posing for professional images hours after giving birth, a tradition Kate followed right after William's late mother, Diana, did. Outside of the agreements between the royals and British newspaper outlets, in which must be upheld and not based on speculation, like covering William's alleged affair, Kate could have very well regretted her decision to live a less quiet life. Even though she seems to be a natural in front of the lens, there's a give and take nature in every human, and there's a possibility that the take portion of being a royal will simply be too much for Kate in the end. In our 4th spot, the perfect couple. Something that's been a very common theme on today's list is that Kate and William are the royals' heroes, basically, with the fact that William and Kate are seen as the good couple versus Harry and Meghan, who are constantly portrayed as the villainous pair out to ruin the royals. This public picture could be a lot to keep sticking with. Even more, there are a handful of online articles striving to expose Kate for who she presumably is, and her and William's marriage for what it has supposedly become. As per a 2023 She Knows article, their marriage is drastically different from what fans are publicly fed. Still, the couple being able to keep a cool front when it comes to public relations is commendable, constantly appearing unified to the nth degree when making appearances and following royal protocol. However, if we go by the words of Tom Quinn, author of Gilded Youth, An Intimate History of Growing Up in the Royal Family, then the untouchable duo plays a much different game behind closed doors. Tom explained how their strong personalities often causes issues, detailing, "Someone who worked for Kensington Palace told me they do have rows. It's not a perfect marriage." And while the outlet claims their fights never reach more tempers than a few cushions being thrown, it begs the question of whether this part was done as to not to damage their perfectly upheld image in the end, as the article then goes on to discuss how they serve as the most exemplary unit given their reported dynamics. In our third spot, wedding day mishaps. Apparently, Kate and William's 2011 wedding day didn't go as planned, if we go by the words of Marie Claire. There were 3 specific mishaps exposed in the online outlet, including William being terrified the day of, Kate's wedding ring not fitting, and Charles's vehicle used for their newlywed drive stalling when they were meant to be taking off. William was expectantly extremely nervous about giving his hand to his wife, and reportedly only caught a half-hour of shut-eye the night prior. Never a good sign, assumably. Then, Kate, whose ring was passed down from Diana, had a perfect fit before the ceremony, but found it too tight for the official day, since she had it resized ahead of tying the knot due to weight loss. Another seemingly questionable occurrence. However, all in all, their big day saw quite a few obstacles, but while they might remain regretful over it, they're also still married now, so there goes that, I guess. In our second spot, opposed marriage. There are a ton of online reports that insist William resisted marrying Kate for as long as he possibly could. The whole world now knows their journey to happily ever after wasn't the smoothest, and even following, the pair faced a mix of backlash and hate for some of the things they did or said. Their initial breakup was a shock factor given the public assumed that they were perfect together, and this allegedly was the biggest factor of why William refused to move forward with his and Kate's relationship at one point. Apparently, Charles's reputation, mixed with how he was reportedly pressured into marrying Diana because the late princess was deemed suitable, became a worry William faced when his relationship came into play. To be fair, the duo were young, and at this point William probably had his whole life ahead of him to decide. But we just have to ask, could William possibly only have married Kate just because he had to? I guess that's for you all to decide. And in our first spot, lipstick pic. Lastly, we wrap up today's very speculative video with a particular photo of the then younger couple that just screams odd. From the lipstick in Kate's hand to William pulling her hair, and the bright red words of King on Will's chest, it seems William doesn't look very happy about this picture. While we can't see Kate's face from this angle, William pulling her hair does come across as a bit unsettling, whereas it appears Kate just wanted to have a bit of fun. There have been a ton of online theories about what this could mean exactly too, but given it's been kind of swept under the rug, like a lot of the other problematic Kate and William things, it seems we may never know what exactly this mess truly meant. Prince Harry has exposed a lot about the royal family in his time, and his wife Meghan Markle is absolutely no exception to this treatment. From small things like the details of their engagement to how his partner royally pissed off the Princess of Wales, here are the biggest secrets Prince Harry exposed about the Royal Duchess. First up, we have Prince William and Kate Middleton shaming Meghan. In his tell-all spare, Harry brought up the situation where William and his wife Kate reportedly humiliated the Duchess by referring to her as a diverse biracial American actress. In an interview ahead of the book's drop, Harry stated that his brother and sister-in-law were never fond of Meghan from the start. More so, Harry detailed how William and Kate never thought he'd pursue someone like Meghan, who had a very successful career as per the book. Many even insisted that the prince married above his standards. Furthermore, it was also noted that Kate didn't like the significance Meghan held to the British public from the beginning. Apparently, the Princess of Wales felt overshadowed by Meghan's personality, as she's a well-known actress and activist in Hollywood. According to reports, Kate felt insecure in her presence, and this can even supposedly be proven in Meghan and Harry's Netflix docuseries Harry and Meghan. Naturally, Harry also discussed the physical brawl with his brother when they apparently fell out over Harry's marriage to Meghan. The shocking scene, which Harry explains resulted in visible injuries, is only one of many spare tales which seem to spark intense upset in the royal family. Before we jump into the next secret, leave a like on today's video to keep our channel growing strong. Just one click helps us here at Where Are They Now. Next in line is Meghan's cluelessness about Harry and William's scuffle. As we just broke down earlier, the allegedly physical beef stemmed from Meghan's then new involvement with the royals. However, it's stated that Meghan didn't actually know about this when it happened and only came to the discovery by accident. The prince alleged he and his beloved brother / arch nemesis once threw literal blows over the Duke and Duchess's marriage. This confrontation took place in 2019 inside his London home, according to the book, where Harry pens how William called Meghan difficult, rude, and abrasive. This upset Harry as he informed his brother of how he was simply parroting the press's narrative about his wife and expected more from William. Apparently, their heated exchange escalated into physical violence, where William supposedly grabbed Harry by the collar, ripping his necklace, and knocked him to the floor. He landed on the dog's bowl, which cracked under his back, the pieces cutting into him. Harry described being dazed and demanding William to leave, to which William asked Harry not to tell Meghan. Harry reluctantly kept his word and instead informed his therapist, but the Duchess eventually noticed the visible scrapes and bruises on Harry's back, forcing him to come clean. Quote, "She wasn't that surprised and wasn't all that angry, she was terribly sad." Another secret Harry dropped on us is Charles deciding that Meghan should not be invited to stay by the Queen's bedside. As for Sky News, Harry learned about the late Queen Elizabeth II's passing from BBC News. Harry depicted seeing this story on his phone after his plane landed with, "I checked the BBC webpage. My grandmother had died. My father was king. I put on a black tie, stepped off the plane into heavy drizzle." Harry claimed King Charles also told him that Meghan should not be joining their family as they grieved at the Balmoral estate where Elizabeth died. About this, the Duke wrote, "He told me I was welcome at Balmoral, but without her. He started to explain his reasons, but they didn't make any sense and it was disrespectful as well. I did not tolerate it from him. He said, stammering, that he simply didn't want the place to be full of people. Nobody's wife was gonna go, not even Kate, he told me. So Meghan shouldn't either." Next up is Meghan misleading Oprah viewers about her and Kate's Flower Girl spat. This was quite the secret to dish about in his memoir, and Harry held nothing back on his own wife when he said she misled viewers with her interview by attempting to pin their argument all on Kate, when in reality, Meghan also upset her royal sis-in-law by making her baby brain comment. In full, Meghan apparently told Kate she must have baby brain because of her hormones. When Oprah sat down with the self-exiles in 2021, the former Suits star accused tabloids of falsely claiming she brought Kate to tears over their Flower Girls dress argument for the Sussexes' 2018 wedding. At the time of the explosive interview, Meghan was very vague about what Kate was upset over and kept alluding that the spat was all the princess's fault, resulting in Kate making amends that Meghan said she forgave. Quote, "She owned it and apologized, brought me flowers and a note, and did what I would do if I knew I hurt someone. I've forgiven her." Meghan also admitted that the feud hurt her feelings and made her cry. As for her part, Meghan couldn't stand the thought of being publicly portrayed as the issue, explaining, "What was hard to get over was being blamed for something that not only I didn't do, but that happened to me." Our next Meghan secret ties into the last, and that's Harry revealing exactly what went down between the Duchess and the princess during their fight. As opposed to what Meghan stated in earlier portions of this video, her hubby's tell-all painted a somewhat different but telling version of the clash. Harry wrote how Kate was actually upset about a discussion regarding the timing of the Flower Girl dresses and the wedding rehearsal. Spare described how the then Duchess of Cambridge shot Meghan a text the week of her wedding with an issue regarding Princess Charlotte's gown, which she was meant to don while being a royal flower girl for their ceremony. According to Harry, the couture French dresses were hand-sewn according to the bridesmaids' measurements, so naturally they would have needed a few tweaks. Meghan reportedly told Kate to bring Charlotte for a quick alteration, where a tailor was awaiting to do the same for the other bridesmaids' dresses. However, as per Spare, this idea was supposedly not sufficient for Kate, who then arranged a time for her and Meghan to chit-chat. Allegedly, Kate informed Meghan that Charlotte's dress didn't fit her at all, adding that the little princess burst into tears upon trying it on. When Meghan relayed the standby alteration message to Kate again, Harry described Kate telling Meghan the dresses needed to be completely remade. This is where the baby brain remark came into play, according to the memoir, a comment supposedly made a little over a month after Kate birthed Prince Louis. While Kate eventually came around to visiting the tailor with Charlotte, Harry later penned how he discovered his bride crying on the floor that day. The following day, Kate reportedly brought flowers and a card and apologized to Meghan. According to the prince, Meghan was reprimanded for her comment and was ridiculed how she wasn't close enough to Kate to say that. In turn, Meghan caught offense from the telling off and ended up crying. Another huge piece of explosive information recently dropped was Harry's relationship with Meghan being exposed by Princess Eugenie. Meghan and Harry captured the entire world's eyes when news of their romantic involvement broke wind. And the culprit behind the leak? Princess Eugenie, according to the couple's biography, Finding Freedom. According to the writers, Eugenie let the cat out of the bag to disclose Harry and Meghan's relationship long before the spouses made it public publicly official. Eugenie and Harry share a tight bond, and in the book, a specific occasion is cited where Harry and Meghan were accompanied by Eugenie and her now husband Jack at a Toronto Halloween party. Apparently, Harry received a phone call informing him that he and Meghan's relationship would be made public in the press, and that the Princess and Prince Andrew's staffers at the time were the ones who leaked the secret to reporters. In our top 3 secrets exposed, we have Meghan's engagement to Harry, which reportedly caused a stir between the Duke and William. As per E! News, upon Harry informing William that he planned to propose to Meghan, his brother warned him that their relationship was moving too quickly too soon to become engaged. Harry penned how William's phrase of American actress always sounded comparable to convicted felon. Harry also detailed how William warned the couple not to marry at St. Paul's Cathedral, where their mother and father got married, nor Westminster Abbey, where he and Kate wed. In our top 2 secrets is how the couple's engagement proposal actually went down. Now, this engagement story has seen many changes over time, one being the main events that took place, and Harry was naturally the one to dish it all in their 2022 limited docuseries. The Duke and Duchess took a blast of the past to revisit the night Harry proposed, and detailed the entire night, with Harry explaining in a sit-down interview, "I wanted to do it earlier because I had to ask permission from my grandmother. I couldn't do it outside of the UK. I did pop a bottle of champagne while she was greasing the chicken, and that kinda slightly gave the game away. She was like, 'You don't drink champagne, what's the occasion?' And then in the North Garden, being overlooked by the staff flats, I got 15 of those electric candles." A video of Meghan excitedly calling her friend for the surprise played after, where she shared, "He's down on one knee and I was like, yes, we were so joyful and excited, like, we're doing this." Even more, the spouses chatted about their milestone right after the announcement for their engagement went public in Kensington Palace's Sunken Gardens in November 2017. Meghan alleged in an interview with BBC's Michelle Hussein about how the engagement was rehearsed though. For this, Meghan broke down how she was told to show off her ring, a piece which features 2 diamonds from Princess Diana's collection, finalizing with, "My point is because they didn't want, we were never allowed to tell our story. That is consistent until now." And finally, our top secret is Harry's admission that the spouse's secret wedding claim was inaccurate. To be fair, this is more of a shared secret than just Harry's, and a bit older on the timeline scale, however it's still pretty big, so let's break it down. The duo admitted in a wild interview that their low-key wedding, revealed in their explosive Oprah interview, didn't actually happen the way it was initially described. Following the couple's public marriage certificates exposing the claims as invalid, a royal spokesman clarified to publications that Meghan and Harry did their vow exchange, but it wasn't an official ceremony. A Daily Beast provided statement reads, "The couple exchanged personal vows a few days before their official/legal wedding on May 19th. This came after the former Suits star relayed in interview footage, 3 days before our wedding we got married. No one knows that. The vows that we have framed in our room are just the 2 of us in our backyard with the Archbishop of Canterbury." Harry even co-signed this with "just the 3 of us." However, the Sun was quick to dispel their claims by obtaining their marriage license from the General Register's office then, which eventually confirmed their legal wedding date to be May 19th, 2018. Taking our 10th spot is Harry's last words to the Queen. In the memoir, Harry discloses the final message he was able to utter to the former Queen prior to her passing. According to the Duke, he traveled to Balmoral as soon as he received word of the tragic news of the former Queen's withering state. However, Harry unfortunately didn't make it there on time before she died on September 8th, 2022. According to information from the US publication Page 6, Harry whispered how he hoped Elizabeth would be happy and that she would be reunited with his grandfather, Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, who passed away the year prior on April 9th. Reportedly, Harry also admitted to the late monarch that he, quote, admired her for having fulfilled her duties until the very end. This was in reference to her Platinum Jubilee attendance mere months before she passed, even though at the time she wasn't in the best health condition to partake in the festivities. Before we jump into number 9, like today's Where Are They Now video for more royal family updates. Taking our 9th spot is the royal evil stepmom. Well, not exactly, but this may as well be her brand with everything that has come out about her thus far. Another handful of secrets to be exposed by the prince regarding the royal family has to do with none other than the queen consort herself. Camilla's run-in with the pages of Harry's tell-all is a long and detailed tale, so let me break it down a little further for you. The first bombshell to drop was Harry's initial worries that Camilla would serve as his real-life evil stepmother. According to a UK publication by The Sun, Harry and his brother William were introduced to their father Charles's mistress turned wife following the death of their mother, and Harry compared the meeting to an injection. In the book, Harry writes, "This is nothing. Close your eyes and you won't even feel it," further noting that Camilla seemed bored meeting him for the first time and described it as more of a pure formality since he was not the heir. Harry then referenced her as a wicked stepmom, penning, "I remember wondering if she would be cruel to me, if she would be like all the evil stepmothers in the stories." In other spillages, Harry also disclosed in the autobiography that he and William supposedly begged Charles not to wed Camilla. The prince claimed both he and his older brother informed their father that they were open to welcoming the now queen consort into their family under the sole condition that he did not marry her, further alluding to begging Charles not to do so. Harry stated that Charles never responded to their pleas. One more thing Harry shared about Camilla through Spare was that William was apparently tormented by Charles's affair with her. As per page 6, which originally obtained a Spanish copy of Spare, the older royal sibling harbored tremendous guilt because of their father's relationship with the other woman. Harry wrote about how his brother allegedly had suspicions about the woman, now known as Camilla, for a very long time. Quote, "It confused him, tormented him, and when those suspicions were confirmed, he felt tremendous guilt for having done nothing, said nothing sooner." Taking our 8th spot is William and Kate's encouragement of Harry's inappropriate costume. Back in the early 2000s, Harry saw a lot of backlash regarding his infamous Central European authoritative uniform costume. According to the Duke, it was William and his wife Kate who motivated him to wear it in the first place, picking the controversial outfit over the phone. This would be the same uniform that landed Harry in several feet of hot water with the press in 2005. As for page 6 again, when Harry cited this incident in writing, he claimed that William and Kate were overcome with laughter when they found out about the costume, featuring its signature band on Harry's left arm. Harry reportedly wrote, "I phoned Willie and Kate, asked what they thought. They both howled. Worse than Willie's leotard outfit, way more ridiculous," which again was the point. Taking our 7th spot is Harry's mommy tell-all. There were a few things listed about Diana in Harry's book as well, many of them shedding light on the woman she was and how she was treated and referred to by those around her. 2 secrets in particular, which I'll be breaking down very shortly, have to do with Harry's life after her tragic passing. For one, Harry described his meeting with a woman claiming to have powers, who in turn informed him that Diana was there with him in spirit. Harry spoke about how the psychic was recommended to him by friends. The prince penned about their sit-down back in 2019, where he claimed to have felt an energy around the stranger. She would go on to tell Harry how his mother was with him, to which the Duke responded, "I know, I felt that of late." The psychic eventually specified that she meant his mother was there with him at the moment, which reportedly made him cry. Writing about his biggest takeaway from the psychic, Harry explained how she told him, "You're living the life she couldn't. You're living the life she wanted for you." Another eye-opening secret Harry dropped in his autobiography was the moment he learned about Diana's. In Spare, Harry revealed how Charles sat on the end of his Balmoral Castle bed and told him, "My dear son, Mum has had a car accident." According to the Sun, Harry claimed his father was not affectionate to him at all, describing how he was not hugged and later felt like a politician while greeting members of the public in line with her heavily publicized passing. Taking our 6th spot is Harry's disclosure of his use of banned substances. I'm sure we all know back in the day, Harry had a pretty messy reputation for being a party guy, and in Spare, he even managed to greatly expose himself. The Duke wrote about how he dabbled in a specific illegal substance when he wasn't of age to feel different, saying how he took the banned substance during the summer of 2007 when he was only 17. Harry further explained how he occasionally took a few more down the road and over the years, noting how it wasn't an enjoyable experience for him and did not make him feel as happy as it appeared to make others. However, he did describe the fix as getting the job done, finalizing, "It did make me feel different and that was my main goal, to be different." Taking our 5th spot is Harry's claims of losing his V-card to a much older woman. The prince didn't really shy away from much in his tell-all, including his first romantic rendezvous with an older lady outside a pub. Harry went into details about the loss of his innocence while he was still in his teens, seeming to be when he just decided to risk it all for an older woman who loved macho horses. According to reports, Harry depicted how it all occurred, writing, "One of my many mistakes was letting it happen in a field, just behind a very busy pub. No doubt someone had seen us." Taking our 4th spot is the infamous flower girl dress fight. According to claims made by Harry in Spare, his wife and Duchess Meghan and his sis-in-law Kate did indeed get into their widely speculated spat regarding flower girl dresses. Therefore, the rumored rumored fight between Meghan and Kate's wedding wasn't actually just that apparently. From a Daily Mail source, a single message is relayed stating, "In the book, Harry says there was a discussion about the timing of the wedding rehearsal and the flower girl dresses, and Kate was very upset. Meghan said that Kate must have baby brain because of her hormones. It caused a huge row because Meghan was told that she wasn't close enough to her sister-in-law to discuss her hormones, and it wasn't the way people spoke to each other within the royal family." Yet another source, this time from Page 6, informed the publisher that the argument conjured itself up due to Kate wanting Charlotte's flower girl dress to be altered. Taking our third spot is William's alleged physical attack. Yes, we know these brothers regularly beef, just as many of the rest of us with siblings do. However, in accordance with a The Guardian published piece, theirs was much more serious. Prince Harry revealed how William allegedly harmed him in his own home at Kensington Palace back in 2019, after William referred to Meghan as difficult, rude, and abrasive. Harry penned how William grabbed me by the collar, ripping my necklace, and knocked me to the floor. The end result was supposed visible bruises and cuts on his back, something that Meghan would later discover, according to the prince. Harry described William leaving Nottingham Cottage and later returning looking regretful to apologize. Before he left the home once more, Harry said William told him not to inform his wife of the incident. Harry responded with, "You mean that you attacked me?" which prompted William to fire back with, "I didn't attack you, Harold." Harry wrote how he disclosed the occurrence to his therapist first, but Meghan eventually found out and wasn't that surprised and wasn't all that angry. She was terribly sad. Taking our second spot is Harry reportedly wiping out 25 people while serving in an Afghanistan tour. Harry claimed he took the lives of almost 30 people while he served as a helicopter pilot. From a section of The Telegraph report, Harry took down 25 fighters on his second duty tour in the country. Harry recalled in the book how he didn't consider the people whose lives he took as that, but more so as, quote, chess pieces he removed from the board, adding how it did not satisfy him, but it also did not embarrass him. Taking our first spot is King Charles begging for his sons to reconcile. The Duke claimed, on top of everything listed prior, that Charles pleaded for him and William to make amends. An additional article stated that one mere month following Harry and Meghan's Oprah interview, the king wanted nothing more than for his sons to make up during the April 2021 funeral for Prince Philip. The memoir detailed how Charles reportedly stood in between his sons, glancing at their flushed faces as Harry described. The prince quoted his father reportedly saying, "Please boys, don't make my final years a misery."